Hello and welcome to the OrCAD Capture series. This video demonstrates how to create a homogeneous part in the OrCAD Capture project. Right-click on the library where we want to build a part, and use the New Part option of the right mouse pop-up. And that opens a New Part Properties menu where we can name the new part 74LSOO. And use the default part reference prefix U for this IC component. Now the PCB footprint property will be set to a value of SIOC 14, and this is the name of the footprint that we want to use when we place this component on the PCB layout using the PCB editor. If we were going to create a schematic symbol that showed all the pins on the package, we would leave the parts per package field set to 1, known as a single section part. But in this case, we're going to create what is known as a multiple part package, and we're going to set that parts per package field to 4. And what that means is that the SIOC 14 package will contain 4 gates, and each of the gates is symmetrical or identical, and that's known as a homogeneous part. The part numbering will be alphabetic.
That means that the 4 gates will be numbered A, B, C, and D, and the pins will be visible on the schematic symbol when used in a design.
Go ahead and click OK. The schematic symbol editor window opens and saves the work we've done so far. And if you want to view or edit the package property, use the package properties window. Next, add the schematic symbol outline using the place, polyline command, or the icon for it is over here in the drawing toolbar. Draw the polyline. The polyline is snapping to the 100 mm grid in the workspace area. Go to the place, arc command to add in the arc. And shrink the bounding box for the component outline. And bounding box is what attaches component pins. Use the place, pins command or use an icon in the toolbar. The first pin we will add is A, and the pin number is 1. Use the pin shape called short. It's a short line, and the pin type is input and click OK. Notice the pin is running along the edges of that bounding box sitting underneath the component outline. Click to add input pin A, and at this point, to add another pin, what it's going to do is just going to increment the pin number by 1. This would be pin 2. If my pin name ended in a number, it would also increment the pin name. Let's go ahead and click again to put another pin down. This is going to be the output pin. Click on pin number 2 and change the pin name to B. Similarly, click on pin number 3 and change the pin name to Y. Use the pin shape called short dot for an inverted output. And it is an output. And save our part. Now let's go ahead and define the power and ground pins for the SIOC 14 package. We will add a ground pin to the bottom and a VCC pin to the top of the bounding box. Drag these reference designator and value properties off to the side temporarily. Use the place pin command. The pin name will be ground, and the pin number will be 7. And we're going to leave the pin shape as a short line stub. The pin type is set to power, and notice when the pin type is set to power, and the pin visible field is activated. This allows you to decide whether you want the ground pin visible on the schematic symbol or not. If you make it visible, this ground pin will need to be explicitly wired to a ground symbol in the schematic. Now, if you leave the pin invisible on the schematic symbol, what that means is the pin will not be shown on the schematic symbol. When you use it in a design, and the netlist will show this ground signal name at pin 7 for the SIOC 14 package. So, the name of the ground pin is used as the global net name when the pin is not shown in the schematic design. So let's go ahead and add this ground pin at the very bottom. And put another power pin on the top. Go ahead and right-click, and change the pin name to VCC, its pin number is 14, and it is a power pin. And we're going to go ahead and hide the power pin in the design. It will use that VCC name as the global net name tied to pin number 14 of the SIOC 14 package. Let's go ahead and save that. Now we have the first of 4 gates pinned out. There are 3 other gates that we need to pin out. One way to look at the next gate in the set is to use the View, Next Part command or Control and shortcut key. That brings up gate number B. You can see no pin numbers assigned to this gate. We'll go to gate C and D and then back to a gate number. Another way you can do that is using the View, Package command. This process switches from logical symbol mode to look at the part from a packaging standpoint. As you can see when we get into View Package mode, you can see all 4 gates on the SIOC 14 packages, and you can see 3 of the gates are not pin out yet. So a couple of different ways you can look at this process. Click on a pin A and change the pin numbers to all the 3 pins. Also, you assign pin numbers to the power pin and ground pin. These 2 power pin numbers are reused for each of the 4 gates. So at this point, we still have 2 more gates to pin out. Let me show you a nice trick. Go to the Edit Pins option from the Edit menu or click on the Edit Pins option from the Properties pane. All the pins of the package are in a spreadsheet. There are the 4 sections that are in the package. We already have assigned A and B gates pin out, and you can see gate number C and gate number D still need to assign pin numbers. Enter the C gate pinouts and D gate pinouts. When assigning the device pinouts, make sure you look at your vendor's datasheet to get these pin numbers set correctly. There is one more column called Pin Group. This property allows you to swap the pins without changing the behavior of the output. This means that pin names A and B or pin numbers 1 and 2 on the gate are equivalent inputs. The pin group property is a common value across both 2 pins. When the pin group property value is set to the same value for these 2 pins, that tells the PCB editor that you have a swappable pin gate. Click the Apply button to replicate this pin group value across. You can see that the pin group property value of 1 has been replicated across all 4 of the gates. These assigned pins grouping is swappable in the PCB editor as well. Next, let's show you how to add a user property called part number to this part. So let's go ahead and click the New button, and we'll type in the part number in the property name, and then we'll give it a value of this as your company part number. And with that part number of properties selected, you can control the display of that user property by selecting the part number and property value displayed in the schematic. You can also turn the pin names and numbers visible or invisible from the Part Properties menu. That concludes the demo for creating a multi-section part. That's all the time we have now for this video. Thanks for watching.